Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really formidable and often enigmatic world. Mossad, Israel's legendary intelligence agency.
Wow.
We've got a fascinating collection of sources, really, that try to peel back the layers on its origins, its, audacious missions, and some truly pivotal moments in its history.
Yeah.
Our goal today is sort of illuminate how this unique organization came to be, what drives its extraordinary actions, and maybe uncover some surprising facts along the way, giving you some fresh perspectives.
And what's truly compelling here, I think, is understanding not just what the operations themselves, but the profound why behind them.
Right.
Especially when you consider the unique and incredibly intense circumstances of Israel's founding. This deep dive really offers a vital lens to grasp how a relatively young nation built one of the world's most formidable intelligence services. Global reach, real impact.
Okay, so let's trace this back. Let's trace the roots.
Yeah.
Our sources show that Israeli intelligence and Mossad eventually didn't just, pop up overnight.
No, not at all.
Its genesis actually goes way back to Jewish underground resistance groups,
Mhm.
active in Palestine under Ottoman rule, and then later British rule, late 19th, early 20th centuries.
That's exactly right. So picture the scene. End of the 19th century, Jews are a tiny minority in what was then largely Arab territory.
Mhm.
But as the 20th century kicks off, European Jews, really driven by the Zionist movement, are increasingly seeking a homeland. They're migrating to the land they believed was historically theirs.
And this territory, at the time, controlled by the Ottoman Empire. Now, our sources explain that after World War I, Britain defeats the Ottomans and crucially issues the Balfour Declaration.
Yes, huge moment.
Which promised support for a Jewish national home in Palestine. And this immediately sparked, widespread discontent among Palestinians and the broader Arab world,
Absolutely inevitable, really.
which naturally led to the formation of secret underground organizations on both sides.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And with a very small Jewish population facing growing hostility, the leadership made a strategic decision. Rapidly build up their underground army and their intelligence capabilities.
Okay.
This leads to groups like Irgun, Lehi, and maybe most significantly, Haganah, formed in 1920 under David Ben-Gurion.
Right, Haganah.
And Haganah played a vital role, not just smuggling weapons, but also organizing the clandestine immigration of Jews from Europe into Palestine. The goal was to significantly increase the population. You see this especially around 1934.
But the story takes an even more urgent turn as World War II looms, doesn't it?
It really does.
European Jews are desperately seeking refuge, often trying to get to Britain, but the British government largely refused entry.
A very controversial policy at the time.
And meanwhile, within Palestine itself, the conflict between Palestinian groups and Jewish groups like Haganah just intensified.
And this period really highlights the immense pressures that ultimately forged the State of Israel. So by 1947, the UN General Assembly formally votes for the partition of Palestine
All right, the UN vote.
and the creation of a Jewish state. At this point, about maybe a third of Palestine's population was Jewish. But this declaration, as you can imagine, met with deep anger by Palestinians and the neighboring Arab nations.
Who immediately pledged support for a fight against this nascent Israeli state.
Immediately, yeah.
So when David Ben-Gurion formally declares the State of Israel May 14, 1948, it's not exactly a peaceful beginning.
Far from it.
6 Arab nations immediately declare war. It was this immediate existential threat. I mean, literally a fight for survival that fundamentally necessitated forming a new, centralized, and highly capable intelligence organization.
And that organization was Mossad.
Exactly, Mossad. So our sources really go deep into its fundamental purpose. They paint this picture of Mossad as an entity with truly a global reach, almost like a world police for Jews is how some describe it.
It's a strong phrase, but you see why they use it.
Yeah. Its core mandate: gathering intelligence, conducting covert operations, counter-terrorism, with a relentless focus on Arab states, obviously, but also any organization worldwide that might pose a threat to Israel.
And it's often credited, as a key factor in Israel's survival and strength to this day.
Absolutely.
If we step back and look at the bigger picture, this broad description really aligns with Mossad's 4 core missions. First, bringing those who harm Jews to justice. Think Eichmann.
I'll get to him.
Second, preempting and countering military threats to Israel. Third, responding decisively to terrorist acts against Jews wherever they happen. And finally, aiding and evacuating Jews to Israel, often from hostile places.
Right, like Operation Moses.
Exactly. This comprehensive mandate, it explains the incredible breadth and sometimes the sheer audacity of their actions.
So how do they manage all this? How are they structured? Our sources, particularly one article, Inside Israel's Secret Organization, they outline 6 distinct departments. It operates kind of like the CIA in structure in some way.
Right, there are parallels.
You've got the collection department, that's foreign espionage, the spies known as Katsas.
Mm-hmm. Your classic spies in the field.
Then the political action and liaison department. They watch political activities, coordinate with friendly agencies, like the CIA.
Crucial for alliances.
Then there's the really secretive Special Operations Division, often called KEDON.
Ah, yes, Kidon. The tip of the spear, so to speak.
Their operatives, sometimes called Caesars, are these elite specialists trained for assassinations, sabotage, paramilitary missions. Pretty heavy stuff.
Highly trained, highly specialized.
And you've got the Psychological Warfare Department, propaganda, influence operations.
LAP, Lohama Psychology. Yeah.
The Research Department, which sounds crucial, analyzing all the intelligence, reporting on threats, lots of personnel just monitoring countries constantly.
Yeah, the analysts are key, making sense of it all.
And finally, the Technology Department. Sounds like Q Branch from James Bond sometimes. Developing advanced tech, specialized cameras, detection tools, assassination implements, phone tapping gear.
They've always been at the cutting edge technologically. It's vital for their operations. It sounds like this incredibly intricate, self-sufficient machine really designed for maximum operational effectiveness.
Okay, so once Mossad is officially up and running,
Mm.
post-1948, its priorities become clear pretty fast. Our sources highlight one of the first big ones, tracking down former Nazi scientists.
Right. Those who had fled after the war.
By 1949, many were found in Egypt, actually helping President Nasser build rockets and weapons.
Which, understandably, sparked genuine fears in Israel. The concern was Egypt might sell nuclear tech or advanced weapons to other hostile nations, like Iraq or Iran.
And this focus on post-Nazi elements ties into another, just remarkable early operation, the leak of Nikita Khrushchev's secret speech in 1956.
Oh, this is a great story. And hugely impactful.
Yeah, this wasn't just any speech. It was delivered at the 20th Congress of the Communist Party, Soviet Union. And it was Khrushchev denouncing Stalin.
Shocking stuff at the time. He even exposed Lenin's testament, which warned about Stalin's abuse of power, the purges.
And the key thing is, Khrushchev gave this speech behind closed doors. It was meant to be absolutely top secret.
Absolutely. Within the party elite only.
But somehow, a Mossad agent got hold of the document, apparently from a Polish Jewish journalist who'd stolen it.
Incredible piece of espionage.
That document makes its way through Israeli intelligence channels, and then they strategically pass it to an American journalist. Ends up published in the New York Times.
Boom. Global headline.
And the fallout was just immense, wasn't it?
Oh, massive. It created deep divisions among communists worldwide. Stalin's reign of terror laid bare. It caused huge confusion in the Soviet Union itself, even riots in Georgia, Stalin's home country, which were violently put down.
And in the West.
Political disaster for communist parties. The U.S. party apparently lost over 30,000 members in just weeks.
Wow.
And it even played a big role in the Sino-Soviet split later on. It fundamentally undermined the global appeal of communism.
So this early mission, it just underscores Mossad's capacity to influence global affairs way beyond just military threats.
Absolutely. Shows their reach and their strategic thinking early on.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the level of deep infiltration Mossad achieved. These agents known as the Misdaravim.
Ah, the Misdaravim, yes. A fascinating approach.
Our sources talk about how, shortly after Israel's creation, 4 Jewish men were sent as spies to Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt.
Great. The goal.
To immerse themselves completely, language, culture. The ultimate objective was to penetrate the governments of these nations at the highest levels possible.
And this method, Misdaravim, it literally means those who become like Arabs in Hebrew. It really shows that long game strategy, years of preparation.
And the most famous, maybe the most legendary example has to be Eli Cohen.
Eli Cohen, absolutely. Born in Alexandria, Egypt, 1924, Syrian Jewish parents. So he was fluent in Arabic, English, French, uniquely positioned.
Recruited by Mossad in 1960 for a critical mission in Syria.
And the way he did it,
yeah,
just remarkable.
His first step, right, was to go to Buenos Aires, Argentina in 61.
Yes, establish his cover identity there.
He becomes Kamel Amen Thibet, a wealthy Syrian businessman. And he masterfully builds connections with high-ranking Syrian expatriates there, even gets the trust of officials at the Syrian embassy.
His cover was apparently flawless, so convincing that by 1962 he moves to Damascus.
Into the lion's den.
And he penetrates the highest levels of the Syrian government, starts sending critical military plans, intelligence, back to Israel consistently.
And then, when Amin al-Hafez, a military officer Cohen had befriended back in Argentina,
Right, the connections paid off.
when al-Hafez stages a coup in Syria in 1963, Cohen's standing shoots up even higher. Apparently, he was even considered for Deputy Minister of Defense at one point.
Incredible access. Just think about it. He's touring Syrian fortifications in the Golan Heights.
Gathering everything: locations, troop strengths, weaknesses.
And he even famously planted trees near fortifications as subtle markers.
Which would prove invaluable later if war broke out. Just audacious.
But there's always a but in these stories.
Yeah. As the saying goes, even the best can stumble. Cohen, maybe he got overconfident. He started ignoring Mossad's warnings about transmitting too often, too regularly.
Made himself predictable. A fatal mistake in that line of work.
In 1965, Syrian counterintelligence, using Soviet equipment, finally detected his radio signal. He was arrested, interrogated, tortured.
And tragically, publicly hanged in Damascus, May 1965. A huge blow.
So despite that tragic end, what's the legacy there? The intelligence Cohen gathered, 1961 to 65. It was absolutely critical, wasn't it?
Absolutely critical for Israel's stunning success in the 1967 Six-Day War, especially the attack on the Golan Heights. They knew exactly where to go, thanks in large part to Cohen.
And this commitment to deep infiltration, it wasn't just Cohen, right? There was Wolfgang Loss in Cairo around the same time.
Right, Lutsis, the Champagne spy. Infiltrated Cairo in 63, gathered intel on missile sites, German scientists working there, led to seizing Egyptian missile boats. It shows this pattern, this willingness to invest years in human intelligence for that long-term strategic payoff.
Okay, now for perhaps Mossad's most famous, certainly most audacious operation, the capture of Adolf Eichmann.
Ah, Eichmann, yes. A defining moment for Mossad and for Israel.
Our sources identify him clearly, a key architect of the Holocaust, directly responsible for coordinating the genocide of millions of Jews.
After World War II, he manages to flee, ends up in Buenos Aires, Argentina by 1950, had help from a pro-Nazi Catholic priest, lived under the name Ricardo Clement.
And he lives quietly, right?
Yeah.
Within the German community there.
For years, but then fascinatingly, he sort of gave himself away. He started contacting other former Nazis, and crucially, he gave this chilling interview to a Nazi-sympathetic journalist.
What did he say?
He apparently complained, horrifyingly, that his biggest regret was that he hadn't managed to exterminate all the Jews in Europe.
Unbelievable. And that interview somehow made its way to the U.S.
Yes, who then quietly tipped off Mossad. The U.S. government at the time wasn't keen on pursuing him actively.
But Mossad needed confirmation, absolute proof.
And the final, crucial piece came from a blind Jewish survivor, Lothar Hermann. Escaped Dachau, settled in Argentina. His daughter started dating Eichmann's son.
Wow.
And Hermann, through careful questioning of his daughter about the young man, confirmed it was Eichmann's son. He immediately notified Israel.
So the operation itself, incredibly risky. Talking about kidnapping someone from a sovereign nation.
Huge diplomatic risk. Could have caused a major international incident. Mossad put together a special 11-member team.
And many of these agents had personal connections.
Yes, many had personally seen or even experienced Eichmann during the Holocaust, which aided in identification but also fueled their determination, you can imagine.
The main challenge wasn't the capture itself, surprisingly. They thought that was relatively easy.
Right. By their standards, the real difficulty was getting him out of Argentina and back to Israel without official permission, the exfiltration.
So the plan was elaborate. The team goes to Argentina, posing as tourists, businessmen.
Blending in.
They created special gear. High-res Leica cameras with hidden compartments, hypodermic needles modified for sedatives.
And a poignant detail. The sedatives were developed by an Israeli anesthesiologist, Dr. Jonah Elian, a Holocaust survivor himself, who had actually encountered Eichmann in the camps.
Just incredible. So May 11th, 1960, after weeks of meticulous surveillance, watching his routine,
They knew exactly when and where.
the team ambushes him just after he gets off a bus on his way home from work, swiftly take him to a safe house, interrogate him for days.
Confirming identity, getting a confession of sorts.
Then they sedate him, dress him in an El Al, the Israeli airline uniform, fake an illness or injury to get him onto a plane bound for Israel.
An incredibly bold move.
And there was that nail-biting moment at the airport, right?
Yes. The Mossad chief, Israel, who was overseeing it, noticed a potentially critical error on Eichmann's fake ID.
What was it?
The birth city listed wasn't actually founded until 1925, but Eichmann's birth year was listed as 1910. A clear discrepancy.
But luckily,
Argentine customs didn't spot it. He got through.
Eichmann arrives in Israel, May 23, 1960. The prime minister announces it to the world almost immediately.
Huge news globally.
After an 8-month trial, over 100 victim testimonies, convicted on 15 charges, including crimes against humanity, war crimes. Hanged in 1962.
The only time Israel has ever carried out a death sentence.
But the boldness of it. Argentina protested strongly. The UN issued a stern warning to Israel. Further actions like this could jeopardize international peace.
It definitely set a controversial precedent. But for Israel, it demonstrated this unwavering commitment to bringing architects of the Holocaust to justice no matter where they hid, even if it meant challenging international norms, fulfilling that first core mission we talked about.
Okay, let's move into the 1960s, a period of really intense tension for Israel. War with Arab nations felt almost inevitable.
Absolutely. The lead up to 67 was palpable.
And our sources reveal Mossad undertook this really interesting mission called Operation Diamond. The objective, get their hands on the Soviet Union's top fighter jet at the time, the MiG-21.
Right. A highly advanced piece of Soviet hardware. Understanding it would give Israel a massive tactical advantage.
But initial attempts, they didn't go well.
No, they had some costly failures first. In Egypt, they tried to pay a pilot, Adib Hanna, to defect with a MiG. The plot got exposed. Hanna and his father were hanged, others imprisoned.
Oof.
A second attempt with another Egyptian pilot also failed when he was assassinated, so not a good start.
But Mossad, they're known for persistence. They finally get a break in 1964. An Iraqi man, codenamed Yusuf, contacts Israel, wants defection advice.
Okay.
And he drops this crucial tip. There's a Christian Iraqi Air Force pilot, Munir Redfi. He's disgruntled, passed over for promotion because of his background, unhappy about being assigned to bomb Kurdish groups in Iraq.
A potential opportunity. Motivation is key.
So Mossad sends in a female agent, befriends Redfi, carefully builds trust, convinces him to meet high-level Israeli representatives.
Playing the long game again.
Redfi agrees to defect, but he has demands. Cash, Israeli citizenship, and critically, Mossad has to guarantee the safe extraction of his entire family from Iraq.
A complex undertaking, getting a whole family out secretly.
So the deal is struck. August 16, 1966. Redfi steals the MiG-21, flies it straight into Israeli airspace.
Even gets chased by Jordanian jets for a bit.
Before being escorted in by the Israeli Air Force. Mission accomplished.
And a massive strategic success. Not only did Israel get the cutting-edge jet to study its capabilities, its weaknesses.
Right, they took it apart, flew it against their own planes.
Exactly. But Redfi himself provided vital intelligence. And that information, combined with what Eli Cohen had gathered earlier, it was absolutely crucial for Israel's decisive victory in the 1967 Six-Day War.
And Mossad was also involved with the Kurds around this time.
Yes, they were supporting Kurdish rebels in Iraq against the Iraqi government, adding another layer to the regional dynamics. So Operation Diamond was a huge win on multiple fronts.
Okay, this leads us now to one of the most tragic and definitely most impactful events in Mossad's history. The Munich Massacre.
Munich, 1972. Yes, a dark chapter.
September 5th, 4:30 a.m. 8 armed Palestinian militants, including members of Black September, infiltrate the Olympic Village in Munich, Germany.
They storm the rooms of the Israeli athletes, take 11 hostage. One athlete is killed immediately during a struggle.
Their demand: release 234 Palestinian prisoners held in Israel.
But Israel's policy was firm. No negotiations with terrorists. They refused the demand.
The situation escalates. Tense negotiations follow, eventually about getting a plane to fly the militants and hostages to Egypt.
But the rescue attempt, it went horribly wrong.
Terribly wrong. The perpetrator spotted something suspicious with the German police deployment at the airfield, and they immediately began executing the hostages right there on the tarmac.
In the end, 5 of the 8 militants, 1 German police officer, and tragically all 11 Israeli hostages were killed.
Just devastating. And for Israel, the second time since World War II that Jews had been murdered like that on German soil.
The symbolism was incredibly painful. In response, Prime Minister Golda Meir, Defense Minister Moshe Dayan, and others formed this special Committee X.
Their mandate? Operation Wrath of God.
A secret global mission to identify and eliminate everyone responsible for the Munich massacre.
And it's disturbing, but our sources indicate Mossad might have had inklings beforehand. Rumors of an attack?
Yes, apparently there were warnings, but the research department had dismissed them. A critical intelligence failure in hindsight.
So Israel retaliates immediately with airstrikes against PFLP bases in Syria and Lebanon.
But Mossad and the IDF wanted more. They wanted the individuals responsible for Munich.
But assassinating people in other countries, that's hugely problematic, especially after Eichmann.
Exactly. Many nations condemned the idea. Mossad knew it was complex, risky. They had to operate in total secrecy.
So what do? They knew the culprits had scattered. France, Italy, Norway.
They got to work. October 16, 1972, 2 targets eliminated in Italy. 2 months later, Paris. A female Mossad agent, Via Raphael, poses as a Canadian photographer. Lures Mahmoud Hamshari, a PFLP member linked to Munich, out of his home for a fake interview. While he's gone, Mossad plants a bomb in his telephone.
In his phone?
Yes. Later, they call him. When he answers, the bomb detonates. Kills him.
Ruthless efficiency. But this relentless pursuit, it led to a major mistake, didn't it?
It did. A critical moment that really altered Mossad's methods. The Lillehammer incident, Norway, July 1973.
What happened there?
Mossad agents track an Arab suspect, believed to be Ali Hassan Salameh, a key Black September leader, the mastermind behind Munich. They follow him from Oslo to Lillehammer. A team of 12 agents, including Via Raphael again.
Okay.
But some agents on the ground started having doubts. They noted the guy didn't seem like someone on the run, no signs of anxiety, not trying to hide.
But the operation went ahead.
It did. July 21st, 1973, 2 Mossad agents shoot and kill the suspect outside a cinema.
And it turned out?
It turned out to be Ahmed Bouchiki, an innocent Moroccan waiter. Completely the wrong man. A case of mistaken identity.
Oh, terrible. The consequences.
Profound. Ethically, operationally. Bouchiki's Norwegian wife was 7 months pregnant. Devastated. 5 Mossad agents were arrested, tried in Norway, got short prison sentences.
Did Israel take responsibility?
Not initially. They denied it for years.
Wow.
But finally, in February 1996, the Israeli government agreed to compensate and apologize to Bouchiki's family.
So, Lillehammer. What was the lesson learned?
A massive, painful lesson. Raised huge questions about their ethics, intelligence verification, the potential for abuse of power. As a direct result, the research department changed strategy.
Oh.
They created a subgroup called the David Advocate, a small internal unit specifically designed to play devil's advocate, to critically assess hypotheses, rigorously verify intel.
Like the 10th man theory from World War Z.
Exactly like that. If 9 people agree, the 10th has to argue the opposite, try to find flaws. This critical thinking approach was implemented more broadly after the failures leading up to the 1973 Yom Kippur War II to prevent similar catastrophic errors. Lillehammer forced a hard look inward.
Okay, moving into the 1980s, Mossad continues its varied missions. We have Operation Opera in 1981.
Right, the preemptive strike on the Iraqi nuclear reactor, Osirak.
As early as 1976, Mossad got wind that Iraq might be developing nuclear weapons. Spies confirmed it. Iraq was building a reactor, bought from France.
And while Iraq and France insisted, oh, it's just for scientific research.
Israel didn't buy it.
No. They firmly believed it was designed to produce weapons-grade plutonium, an existential threat, potentially triggering a new regional conflict.
So they made a bold decision. June 7, 1981, Israeli fighter jets bombed the reactor near Baghdad.
Destroyed it completely, killed 10 Iraqi soldiers and 1 French civilian engineer.
And the international reaction.
Outrage, widespread condemnation, seen as violating international law, breaching sovereignty, condemned by the UN. Even the US was highly critical. Headlines screamed, outrageous, state-sponsored terrorism.
The stark example of Mossad enabling that preemptive military strike doctrine.
Absolutely. Shows the intensity of their approach to perceived existential threats. But it's important to remember, Mossad isn't just about military ops. There's a significant humanitarian side, too.
Right, like Operation Moses or Operation Brothers in 1982.
Exactly. A remarkable mission to rescue thousands of Ethiopian Jews, the Beta Israel community who were fleeing civil war and famine, bring them to Israel.
And this involved incredible risk. Mossad sends an agent, Gad Shimron, to Sudan, an Arab nation hostile to Jews.
Posing as the diving instructor in the Red Sea, he bravely takes the assignment, bribes officials, sets up a fake diving resort in a remote area.
A front for the whole operation.
Precisely. His own brother was involved too, hence Operation Brothers. Under cover of night, they'd transport groups of Ethiopian Jews who trekked hundreds of miles in trucks to Israeli Zodiac boats waiting offshore, guarded by Navy SEALs.
Coordinated with Jewish committees inside Ethiopia who sent groups weekly. An underground railroad.
Just an incredible logistical and human feat, and incredibly dangerous.
And there's that close call Shimron had.
Yes. One night, transporting a group, Sudanese troops who'd secretly been tailing him ambushed them right at the shore.
What did he do?
Quick thinking. He bluffs. Says he works for Sudanese tourism, taking tourists for a night dive, even threatens to report the soldiers to a high-ranking naval commander he supposedly knew.
Did it work?
Incredibly, yes. The Sudanese officer apologized, let them go, completely fooled. Mossad continued this dangerous evacuation until the mid-80s, eventually using transport planes landing secretly in fields.
And the result.
Rescued approximately, well, tens of thousands eventually through various related operations. Operation Moses itself brought around 8,000. It showcased that fourth core mission, aiding and evacuating Jews to Israel. A powerful, compassionate side.
And Gad Shimron's reflection on being a spy? Quite insightful. He called it a kind of schizophrenia.
Yeah, that jarring contrast. Trained to deceive, steal, maybe kill, then you go back to normal life. As he put it, you're just another ordinary citizen of the state of Israel. The psychological toll must be immense.
So this pattern of daring, often controversial operations, it just kept going. 1986, Mordechai Vanunu.
Right, the Israeli nuclear technician who revealed details of Israel's nuclear program to a London newspaper.
Mossad located him, famously lured him to Rome with a female agent, kidnapped him, secretly brought him back to Israel.
Sentenced to 18 years, 11 in solitary, released in 2004, not 2003. He claimed brutal treatment, possibly due to his conversion to Christianity. Still a very controversial case.
Other targets around this time. Arabs linked to Black September, PFLP members in '88.
And the assassination of Gerald Bull, the Canadian scientist developing Iraq's supergun, in Brussels in 1990. Though Mossad involvement is suspected, not officially confirmed.
Then another critical moment drawing huge scrutiny. September 25, 1997, the attempted assassination of Khaled Mashal.
Yes, a key Hamas leader at the time, in Amman, Jordan.
2 Mossad agents try to poison him, apply a fast-acting toxin to his ear as he enters his office.
But his bodyguards were alert, suspicious they caught the agents. Mashal gets rushed to hospital, condition deteriorating rapidly.
And King Hussein of Jordan intervenes personally.
Decisively. Demands the antidote from Israel. Threatens to cut diplomatic ties, possibly starting riots or worse if Mashal dies on Jordanian soil, when Israel initially refuses.
President Bill Clinton had to step in.
Yes, forced Clinton's hand. He compelled Israel to provide the antidote.
So the Mossad chief himself flies to Jordan with the antidote. Mashal survives.
The captured agents were later released in a prisoner exchange. Mashal described the feeling as an explosion in his ear, being electrocuted.
And again, this operation raised serious questions globally. Jurisdiction, sovereignty, assassination.
Absolutely. Yet, despite the international outcry, the diplomatic pressure, Mossad seemed largely undeterred, continuing to operate based on its own assessment of threats and its mandate.
Okay, fast forward a bit. One of Mossad's most famous recent hits, Imad Munia.
Munia, yes, co-founder of Hezbollah, one of the world's most wanted terrorists,
Right.
linked to huge attacks like the 83 U.S. Embassy bombing in Beirut, the 94 AMIA bombing in Buenos Aires.
Lived in deep hiding. New identity, plastic surgery, based in Damascus.
Mossad tracked him meticulously, confirmed his identity after extensive surveillance, and in February 2008,
They planted a bomb.
a remote detonated bomb in the headrest of his parked SUV, reportedly, though some sources say a nearby rental car. When he approached or got in, it detonated, killed him instantly.
A method, as our sources note, chillingly similar to the car bombs he himself had used.
Poetic justice, some might say. A major blow to Hezbollah.
And finally, another audacious operation involving counter-proliferation. Starting around 2001, Mossad monitors a Syrian-North Korean link.
Right. Fears Syria might be developing nuclear weapons with North Korean help.
The breakthrough comes in 2006. Mossad agents break into the London apartment of a Syrian atomic program official.
Install special software on his laptop while he's out.
And they hit the jackpot. Photos, blueprints, documents, all related to a secret nuclear program, supported by North Korea and Iran.
Concrete evidence. So in 2007, Israeli commandos covertly enter the suspected nuclear plant site in Syria. Take photos, soil samples.
Which definitively confirms it's a nuclear facility under construction.
Confirmation secured. October 2, 2007. Israeli fighter jets launch a strike. Bomb the plant. Reduce Syria's nascent nuclear facility to rubble. Operation Orchard.
Wow. So looking back at all these examples, What does it all mean? We've only covered a fraction, obviously.
To scratch the surface.
But these stories, they vividly illustrate an intelligence agency really born out of necessity, right?
Yeah.
Constantly adapting tactics, from Eli Cohen's deep infiltration to preemptive strikes on nuclear sites, and those complex humanitarian missions like Operation Moses.
The sheer breadth is remarkable. From hunting Nazi criminals like Eichmann to learning those incredibly painful lessons at Lillehammer, it highlights this complex ethical tightrope they constantly walk.
Yeah.
And it really does prompt important questions for you, the listener, to consider. What are the justifiable limits for an intelligence agency operating globally, especially when it's tasked with protecting its nation, its people, often facing existential threats?
And how do these operations, some celebrated, some deeply controversial, how do they ultimately define Mossad's enduring and complex legacy in the world today?
Definitely something to think about.